Welcome to the third video in my Toyota Hilux truck build series, and in this video we are going to be just running through some of the internal fittings that I've got in the canopy at the back here. In the first episode we ran through the overall picture of what I want to do with this vehicle and why I chose the Hilux. In the second video we discussed the canopy itself, and in this video we are going to talk about what I've done inside the canopy, because the whole point of a canopy is to make whatever you're storing inside accessible, especially an aluminium canopy with the access doors on the side. If you can't store stuff inside in a way that allows them to be firstly easy to access and secondly organized, so you know where everything is and you can get to everything quickly, then really you're missing the point, and you might as well just be chucking stuff in the back. So let me show you what I've done here, and before I even get started, let me tell you that if I could do this differently from the start, I probably would. You're going to see a lot of stuff here that it doesn't fit perfectly. It's not an extremely efficient use of space, but that being said, I'm still happy with it and it still serves its purpose perfectly fine. But let's get into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my phone and I'm going to run through everything in here and film close-ups with my phone, and you're going to see the wide picture so you can see where everything is. So the very first feature here that you're going to notice is the drawer system, and this is an awesome setup. Alu-cab did a really good job here. This is a locking system which keeps everything nice and safe, and if I pull this out you can see there just happens to be the perfect little compartment here for a rifle. Now I can fit some of my longest air rifles in here. I can fit my firearms in here with 26-inch barrels, and this is a nice carpeted section. You can remove the carpet if you want to clean it, but it's a nice system. You can pretty much keep your rifles in here locked up safe. No one can see that they're there. You can keep your air tanks in here. You can keep anything in here. And what makes this drawer system great is that it's pretty much built for the ammo boxes that you can buy from pretty much anywhere. I don't know if it's the same in the US, but here in South Africa, if you go to any hardware store, or you can look on Frontrunner's online website, they call them Wolfpack boxes or ammo boxes, as a standard size for storing stuff, and those fit perfectly in here. So that's what I've done, especially on this other side. Is on this side I have compartmentalized everything, and everything kind of stays in here. So here's the ammo box I was talking about. This one's got like toilet paper, fire lighters, more of the hardware stuff, dishwashing setup. I've got extra food here in case I get stuck somewhere, some extra coffee stuff, and then some cooking stuff and water stuff and sunblock and cloths, and pretty much everything I need for camping is in here. And then normally in this side, when I don't have guns, I put sleeping bags and bedding and all that stuff, because that is pretty well dust sealed and nothing can get in there, and it's just easier to store everything in there than chucking everything on the back seat. So that's what I use that section for. The one thing I don't like about this alu-cab system, I just don't like the fact that there's so much unused space on the sides. Now I've kind of made a use for it. I've put battery packs on the sides and crammed stuff in there, but a lot of other canopy manufacturers, they actually put they continue with this carpeted plywood over here all the way to the end, and they make little flip up lids, and I find that a much better use of space, because those become compartments that you can keep bags, little tool bags in and stuff like that, whereas this is just stuff that's bouncing around on the side, and I have to tie everything down. So that's the one thing I don't like. On this side I've basically got spare tent over here, ground tent. I've got a 20-litre diesel tank. I've got a braai grid or barbecue grid, and a few other things. There's a spade in there as well if I need to dig myself out of trouble. And then inside the back there's that 40-litre water tank with the hose over here, which I just unstrap from this thing, put it down here, and then it's a gravity fed hose which I can use to, you know, it's just water for cooking or water for drinking or water for whatever I need, showering, all that stuff. Now you may notice that the fridge is also not necessarily a very efficient use of space, but let me show you anyway what I've done. It does work very well. This is the alu-cab fridge slide, and essentially this just pulls out here, which unlocks those two pins. You can pull out your fridge, and then once your fridge is out, you can lift it and drop it, and that gives you access to whatever's on top. This fridge is a Snowmaster fridge and freezer combo. It's a dual compartment 57-litre, and I really like this thing. It's solid, it's well built. It's also a South African product that is exported all over the world, so it's nice to have a, you know, locally made stuff, the alu-cab stuff, and the fridge and freezer. It's empty right now, but basically you can set one compartment to be your freezer, you can set the other compartment to be your fridge, or vice versa, or you can make them both your freezer or both your fridge, or you can basically almost turn the one side off to save energy. One of the nicest things about this fridge and freezer is that it comes with a remote, and I can keep that remote in the front of the vehicle. It charges with solar, so you can leave it on your dashboard to charge, and you can set the temperature from inside there. It beeps if your power gets disconnected. It beeps if the lid is kept open. It's just a really good system. So I would strongly recommend this unit for anyone out there who wants to go for a fairly decent size fridge / freezer for their overlanding / camping setup. What I've done here is I've basically connected it to the DC input, and I've put these sticky cable management things over here which stop this cable from getting jammed up here when I slide this thing forward and backward. But yeah, it's a really awesome setup. This fridge does have like an insulated sheath or bag that goes over it. I just found that was a bit fiddly with, you know, you got to bring the zip all the way around. It would save you some power, but to be honest, it's not really enough to justify me using it all the time. This thing really doesn't draw too much power. I can run it for a few days on the battery without driving at all, so that's great. Also, nice touch, that's a bottle opener there. It's nice to have. So, good question is, do you need like a electric 12-volt fridge or freezer like this? Can you get away with just using a cooler box, like a big Yeti or something? Yes, you can. This is kind of like one of those things that are really nice to have, but to be honest, after owning this, I would say it's pretty essential, because those cooler boxes, after a while, they'll drive you mad. You put ice in them to keep them cool, but then your ice starts melting and your meat gets water in it, and your food's all floating around. Your cardboard milk cartons start to get soggy, and then they start to leak milk everywhere. It's just not ideal. You can get away with it for a day or two, but anything after a day or two, you're going to really want one of these. And I can leave this on in the back all the time and just leave a few drinks in there, or like if I have a range day or a hunting day where I'm going to go shoot some pigeons, or I'm at the range and I want to take a break between shooting shooting my heat and the next heat, I can come back to the vehicle, grab something cold to drink, and it's just really nice to have. So I would strongly recommend getting one of these, and the Snowmaster makes awesome stuff. And then of course you'll remember that this table slide from the previous video on the side, like a little coffee table that just attaches to the side, that folds up and it fits right over here, so that is pretty efficient use of space. The fridge slide, however, this fridge, the only problem with this fridge is that it's a bit of a strange size. So the smaller alu-cab fridge slide was a bit too small for this fridge, and this one, which is the next size up, is very big, so it's not a very efficient use of space. I would have preferred to have a smaller slide that's more over to the side, which would have allowed more space on this side for just packaging other stuff. I could have put more ammo boxes in here or something, but nonetheless, I still have plenty of space in here. Being a truck with a canopy, it's a lot more space than you get in most station wagons, and it's honestly more than I need. What you're seeing up here is a homemade table slide with parts from a hardware store. Just little hooks for mounting stuff from a hardware store, bolted into the slots in the roof with 8mm bolts, and they just slide in, and I was able to put this thing together pretty quickly, and it holds that table great. Now, when it comes to storing things in canopies, you want your weight as far forward as possible. So stuff like water storage, you really don't want to keep water tanks right in the back. So this ended up being purely by chance, but I installed alu-cab's ammo box slide, and I mentioned earlier those ammo boxes are very easy to find and pretty modular. So in the back here, I've got the ammo box slide. You can see the slide down here, and the ammo box is sitting on there, and those can be tied down. But it just happens to be the perfect width to hold down one of these 40-litre water tanks. And I've got a ratchet strap holding down the tank. I can fill it from there, and then there's a pipeline, which you can't see down there, which basically feeds to the back of the vehicle and gives me access to water. So water tank is nice far forward over here, right above the wheel. It doesn't really, I don't feel any difference when driving. In fact, I'd say the vehicle drives a bit better with the extra weight. And yeah, it's a good place to have it. And then just convenient width right here next to the ammo box slide, there's a bit of a gap, and this gap just happens to fit my camping chairs perfectly. So camping chairs just slot in right there, and they're easy to take out when I need them. And then obviously I've got this cupboard compartment over here where I've got some electrical stuff. I've drilled a hole in the side with a Dremel, and I've attached a tethering cable from this battery to the other battery, and that cable basically runs inside the outer edge of that ammo box slide. So a perfectly efficient use of space? Absolutely not. In hindsight, there are some things I would have done differently. Like I probably would have had the drawer system custom made for me, so that I've got a specific compartment for batteries, I've got a specific compartment for tools, I've got a specific compartment for other things like a spade, or I don't know, just stuff I might need that can go on the sides where the wheel wells are. But overall, this works well. I've made it work. I've had to be a little bit resourceful, and there's probably a few other things I might change in the future, but overall I'm very happy. So that is the internal installations in the Canopy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will put links down below to all these products, even though I'm not sponsored by any of these people at all, and you can check them out, and if you like them, leave a comment below with any questions, and I'll be very happy to go through them when I have time and answer them for you. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.